Hi, Nick. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Lasha, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Beautiful. And okay, I do this so often. I love to thank my guest for two good reasons. All right. Firstly, Nick, I want to thank you for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this show right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, Nick, sometimes back I was passing by a mango tree, and you see, this particular mango tree didn't catch my attention. Why? Because it's got no fruit on it. I just walked past it, and But just recently, okay, when I was on that same road, this time around, I sighted the mango tree from afar, and it caught my attention real good. Then I moved so close, and when I got closer, then it wowed me and I was excited and it's got a lot of mangoes on it now and it looks so beautiful. The point is the fact that you dedicated your time, energy and resources to becoming who you are today caught my attention. And you see, it caught my attention pretty good that I can't just look away. That's why I sent you that message. You've got to come on the show, you see. So thank you for investing in yourself. And secondly, thank you for honoring the invite. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. So let's get started.
No,
I'm quite,
my goodness. Thank you so much.
yeah, Nick. So I am quite excited to have you on the show, Nick, for some reasons. All right. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, Nick, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have Nick on the show is for the sake of the listeners. Nick, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got a lot of information flying out there. How to do this, how to do that. So these folks trust me for quality information. And that's why when I came across your profile, I was excited because I believe our conversation is going to be impactful and insightful. So for that reason, Nick, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We're just so curious. We want to know how you got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Nick, over to you.
Sure. Sounds great. Yeah, thank you so much, Elisha. Well, my name is Nick Smith. I'm president of Loud Canvas Media Group. And, we're a full service marketing agency, and we serve the largest companies in the world, right down to your favorite, mom and pop, Main Street America, restaurants, ice cream shops, roofers, construction workers, doctors' offices, everyone in between. And the journey in getting to where I am today has been maybe a non-traditional one. I think a lot of times people who end up in marketing or, the president of a company, they oftentimes will take a traditional path, say through an education system, maybe be masters of business or masters of marketing, something of that nature. But I actually cut my teeth in the marketing world in church planting. And so I started in, kind of the least church region of the United States. Historically has been the Northeast. And so, my passion for helping people and my passion for helping people achieve everything, that their calling might have for them has been, kind of the rooting in how I got started in that space. And so, you know, growing up in the Northeast, I had a passion for reaching the people who were closest to me and helping them in any way that I could, and being an influence, whether that be spiritually or otherwise, in their lives. And so that region, less than 3% of the people that live up there go to a church on any given Sunday. And so we ended up, helping grow the fifth fastest growing church in America. And we used a lot of marketing tactics in order to help do that. And that's, according to, some magazine back in the 2015, but fifth fastest growing church, and it was a lot of fun. And what I realized was that if there was an ability for us to get people who had a predisposition towards church that was negative, to go all the way from having a predisposition towards church being negative and towards God and spiritual, if we could take something so important and so meaningful as someone's spiritual journey and get them to be aware of a solution and walk them all the way through that same process that you would almost in a buyer's mindset, if you would, in business, that the same principles and the same logic applies. And so understanding where somebody's at, meeting them where they're at, understanding what their pain points are, and then understanding that there's a solution to those pain points is kind of the crux of marketing, is kind of, the very essence of what good marketing is. And it just so happens that, planting churches and marketing have a lot in common. And so after I transitioned out of, kind of the leading in that church world, I transitioned into marketing in the pharmaceutical space, actually, and in the healthcare space. And so I had a chance to work with some of the most expensive drugs in the United States, and really started to get the ability to see, what it looks like to take that same kind of purpose-driven approach to life and to helping people. Now, maybe not so much in a spiritual sense, but in a physical well-being sense. And so helping, patients who are sick get on treatment has become a passion purpose, and helping, marketers or helping, business owners to be able to share their message and share their solution to people who have a problem. So many people go into business and go into, that space because they're looking to help people, because they have a problem and they found a solution for it. And now they want to help other people who have that same problem. And so it's become a joy for me to take that same kind of core principle, that I started with all those years back in church planting, and apply that to marketing, whether that's, business to business or direct to consumer. It's been a lot of fun.
Amazing. I love that. You see, you've just been mentioning that very important word, help. You see, folks who are living basically to help others, I regard them to be one of the very, very important asset to planet Earth. And I tell you, Nick, you've just been, making me really excited. The fact that you, like that part where you mentioned that you were excited to join because they discovered a solution and they want to use it to help other people who are stuck in that problem. I love that. And how you use your marketing tactics, to plant churches, man, and to make it the fastest growing. I love that. You see, I was studying the Bible one day and I realized that Jesus was actually or is actually a great marketer. You see, according to what I learned from what he did, you don't preach or you don't announce your product to people just like that. Like, I have this product and this is it then. No, you announce the solution of your product to people. They're not interested in knowing the component or whatever. What is it that his product can solve? Just like when Jesus told Peter, I'm trying to paraphrase now, he said, I know you're a fisherman, but you see, if you follow me, you become fishers of men. You start a fish, man. That's amazing. And how he was able to convince all of those guys, Matthew now the tax collector, I was able to convince them to, get his offer in that marketing. Let's just use that term. It's amazing. I'm going to be asking you. Okay. You want to say something? Yes, I
Well, it reminds me of something. So I heard one time that your experiences change your beliefs. And when I heard that, I wasn't quite sure that I believed with that. That I agreed with it, that I believed it. But over time, it's proven to be pretty true in my life that my experiences have a large, substantial deciding factor or weight within how I decide what my belief systems are. And so I think, you know, Jesus changed people's experiences, and that, in essence, allowed their beliefs, to be softened, to be changed. And it was certainly over time. And what's interesting is I love kind of reading the gospel stories and reading the stories of these men who followed Jesus so closely and seeing how in moments of their life they're so close and they have such strong faith and such strong belief. And then in other moments, it's like none at all. And it makes me feel so much better about my walk, and what my faith looks like because my goodness, sometimes, man, it seems so close and everything is just so sure and so confident. And then other times it's, the midnight and the rooster's crowing and I'm like, I don't know. So it's wild. Or, you think of, yeah, it's just interesting. And so, the same thing is true just in marketing, right? As people's experiences change their belief systems. And so I think a lot of it is understanding a pain point and knowing, hey, does someone resonate with a pain point that I share? Can I share a pain point and will someone identify and say, hey, that's me? And you saw Jesus did that all the time. Jesus was oftentimes throwing out pain points, right? Whether it was sin issues or whether it was, societal issues that people had a hard time with. And Jesus would expose a truth. And then people around Jesus would have to respond to that truth. Their experience would force them to consider something. And then their belief would change because of that experience. And so, certainly, I think in those regards, Jesus was a great marketer. He was able to help people become problem aware. And then when somebody identifies, hey, I have that problem, they naturally want to know, well, what's the solution? And here's the interesting thing, actually, I think, is that, maybe something that's a little bit different than our day and age, or at least the cycle of marketing in the current markets, is that I think oftentimes we're ready to jump right in and share the solution. And here's the solution, and here's your next steps. And if you want, here's the offer, here's the pitch, and here's the dollars and cents and all the rest of it. But Jesus, when it came to spiritual matters, was much more elusive around how he gave the solution in a lot of cases, right? And he wanted people to come to that understanding and that full belief without being told. And really coming to that because there's something that happens, there's a confidence. Here's something that's interesting for marketers or anybody really. There's a confidence that comes from somebody who comes to a conclusion on their own rather than following a process or following a set of instructions. They're then given, at some point, they're then kind of given that confidence or given that belief. But when they come to that belief on their own, they come to that confidence on their own, it's a much stronger expression of that coming out of it, right? So they feel like they can own it much more. And so I think Jesus did that a lot in his interactions was, you know, people had to come to this decision on their own. He wasn't babying them through it. He wasn't giving them all of the answers, give them, just everything that they needed just to kind of lead them a little bit further, just kind of push them a little bit further. And I think some of the greatest marketing campaigns, I think mimic that in many ways, right? There's an elusive nature for a great product, for a hidden sort of journey for the person who wants to find it, for the right market, for the right type. That's a that's a fun product to sell.
I do.
So some of the ideas around that, is if you think of like I think it's geocaching, which I'm not sure how popular this is globally, but it's this idea where there's this game where there's these geocaches all around, and you have to go and you have to find them, and when you find them, you mark them, and then you leave something there, and so on and so forth. And the human mind likes adventure, it likes discovery, it likes newness, it likes to have to figure things out. And so it also likes exclusivity, which is why luxury brands have, limits on things and, price limits on things and qualifying pieces. And so it's part of the reason why you'll have clauses within agreements for brands. I think BMW was popular for this, where they said if you own a BMW, you're not allowed to park it on the street, or you can't own it in these certain areas because they didn't want to be associated with those certain areas. And so it's interesting. So yeah, there's definitely something to be said for that.
Yeah, amazing. I got your point, and I then discovered that that was why he was always speaking in parables when he's with the multitude, because the essence of a parable is that you discover the truth when you're ready. And I got your point, and that's so correct. Yeah, and I tell you, it's been an amazing one with you. Okay, so let us just one question. All right, what advice would you give to
Shoot.
aspiring leaders or marketers seeking to leave a meaningful impact?
I love that question. One of the philosophies or kind of approaches to marketing that we take is just having a humanistic approach to everything, thinking about who it is that we're talking to, who it is that we're serving. And so, for our team, when we're building a website or when, we're launching a marketing campaign or we're trusted with creating a strategy to help grow a business, we take that to heart. We say that we are stewards of somebody's dream, that somebody is trusting us with their baby, that whether they are in a positive profit margin at the end of this year and are able to put food on their table and, yeah, a nice Christmas or whatever that looks like for them and their financial goals, in some part has to do with how well we show up and how well we do our job. And so, there's a lot of meaning that comes from that. And there's a lot of accountability and responsibility that comes from that. And I think that's a part of our culture, and that's something that we all get, that we treat the work as if it's our work because it is, right? And so, but that we're not so far removed from it that we lose the responsibility aspect of it. And also, we recognize that this is the person's baby, and so we're only doing what we're told, and we're not hands on and controlling, right? This is their world, so we also approach things open hands, and we say, you know, we show up as a way. How do we serve, and how do we add value? And so responsibility, accountability, and how do we add value? And I think that works if you're dealing with customers. I think that works if you're dealing with your staff, if you're dealing with team members. If you want to leave an impact, go champion someone's dreams. Go help somebody accomplish what it is that they're trying to accomplish. Show up and wonder, how can I help this person accomplish their vision? How can I move the needle as much as possible to help this person move their vision forward? And sometimes if you show up to a situation and you're not sure, just taking notes might be a good place to start. Just taking notes if you're on that spiritual side of the house, maybe praying, asking how you might be able to add value, right?
True. That's gonna be the end of the show, Nick. Thank you for coming and thank you for honoring the invite. It means a whole lot, man. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.